It is Tuesday, April the 5th. I don't know where March came from. April the 5th, 2022. Welcome to the Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. I am your host, Camila, aka Sunshine. We are live on Twitch, Twitter, the YouTube channel, Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. Please like, share, and subscribe. Normally, I would be on Facebook, but I am currently in Facebook jail. So we can't go live on Facebook. Yeah, a whole nother story. However, the show believes in 6 degrees of separation. You are one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. It has been proven over and over again since this show has started. Again, this is my second show for the evening, and this is another powerhouse person. I'm so excited about this conversation. I'm going to skip around in her bio, and she has been the voice to many, and I'm going to skip around, and then I'm gonna let her indulge in the conversation with some of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight. Again, um, wow. Um, so let's get into. She is the oldest of three, correct?
Correct.
And she sings like a songbird. If you ever heard one sing. She has been known for being labeled the Harriet Tubman of domestic violence. She has published and authored 4 books.
9.
9. Jesus. 9 books. She's a wonderful mother. She has been through it all. She has touched some of everybody's stages. She has been a host. She has been an entrepreneur. She has done it. I don't think it's too many things she hasn't done. But I've met her through Main Event, as usual, on the prayer call, as we would say, of the top of the morning, which I might not understand between two men, Wally, Main Event, Dixon, and Mark, Mr. Ideal Bullock, decided that they were going to get on Facebook and pray every morning at 9 o'clock. And from there, it was something. If I'm up 9 o'clock in the morning, if I'm at work, whatever the case may be, I get on and hear them pray. Sometimes they have guests. I've been a guest on here, and this wonderful woman has been a guest on there as well to pray heaven down. We're not on there long, but it's a hit it, quit it, and keep it moving. So again, I want you guys to welcome Miss Allen to the show. Damn, damn, damn. Also, I want to say before we get started that I have a new sponsorship from Blacktop Street Ball Association, bigger than the brand, came through on today. So again, I want you guys, if y'all want to sponsor our show, please do so. I have all the means, and I have big arms, and I have a big heart and a big hug for you guys who want to be a sponsor to the show. So, Miss Allen,
Yes, ma'am.
now that I have got all the preliminaries out of the way, let's dig into it. She is a pastor.
She is.
She is a pastor. Is it a safety in the art?
The arc of safety.
Yes, the arc of safety. And it's not SAFETY.
No. It's SAFETEA.
That's different. Can you explain that?
So I want to say about seven, oh my God. Yeah, about 7 years ago, I wrote a book, and the book was called Who Is She? Is She You? And right after that, like, women all over the world were emailing me or finding me on Facebook saying, oh my God, she's me. And I published them. I published 39 of them, their stories in a book. But the way God gave it to me then was the ark of safety. It was just a place, a safe place for them to come, so I could kind of work them through their trauma. So I could kind of not fix them, but get them healed to a place that they could stand in front of people and tell their story and not be broken. And so the way God, at that time, everybody was talking about spill the tea. Let me get that tea. Let me get the tea. And the Lord said to me, this is a safe place where they can spill their tea and I can spill my tea. So I'm going to sip their tea and they can sip my tea. And so I did that. And I really, at the time, it was not considered ministry to me. It was just something to do, if you will. I had no title. I probably wasn't even churched at the time. I had a partner who was a pastor, so I kind of let her be the front runner of it. She did all the praying, all the prophesying, all the preaching, all of that. And I just did all the other stuff. I knocked on doors and pulled women out of their houses. Like that's what I did. And about a year ago, I rescued a young lady from Tennessee in a domestic violence relationship. And I had her for a whole year, kind of got her to a place of healing. And we went to Florida for a ministry assignment, and she asked me to baptize her. And I had to go to my bishop and be like, listen, she wants to be baptized, so you need to just go ahead and baptize her. And he said, no, you're going to baptize her under ark of safety. And I was like, no, sir, like, that's like, what are you talking about? And the Lord spoke to me and said, clear as day, the Ark of Safety Deliverance Center. I wrote it down. I never said anything to anybody. I did baptize her. And I got a phone call maybe 6 months later. And it was a building, and the building was affordable, like unheard of affordable. Would I take the building? I said yes. But I took the building because it was crazy not to take the building for the
Right.
price. And the Lord had been speaking to me about ministry. I used to do a service once a month, and then I stopped. Even through the pandemic, I did it on Zoom, but I didn't really want to be a pastor. I didn't really want to walk in that. So I stopped. But the people started calling me like, you're not going to have no more services. We missed that. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. And the Lord started convicting me, but I never said anything to anybody. He spoke to the bishop, and the bishop called me and said, I know that God is saying this to you because he's saying it to me. And maybe 2 weeks later, I got the call about the building. I took the building, and the people start saying, when is our first service? And here we are. Here we are.
So it's amazing how God orchestrates things, right? So
It
I just
is.
got off the previous conversation with the prophet, and she's a powerhouse too, and she's a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I didn't do this on purpose. Here it
Mm-mm.
is, and I'm hearing counsel and a lot of stuff that we do is we want to help people who in the areas where we needed help.
Um,
And that happens all the time with, God's servants. A lot of them been through those moments.
but I think it's a fine line between wanting to help them and not having a choice. Because I feel like I wasn't really looking to help nobody. If that just makes sense. I was happy to survive. I was happy to be alive, and I was okay with that. Um, it wasn't really my desire to help. I go live every morning, and for like the last 2 weeks, I've been telling the people like I didn't ask God for this. And this morning, the Lord was very clear with me on my live. I know you didn't ask me, and I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you if you wanted. I didn't ask you how you felt. I didn't ask you what you thought. I didn't ask you what your dreams were. I didn't ask you. I called you. Period. I didn't ask. This was not a conversation, because if I had asked, you would have said no. I didn't ask
No,
you.
yes.
I called you. So here I am. Um, and I've been doing the work probably way longer than,
Longer, yes.
yeah, I've been doing the work a long, 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 long time. Never looking
I have a a spiritual mother who she's been doing the work for the longest. And right now, God is in the place like, listen, I've been letting you, now I need you. Your ticket, punch, no more jobs, ministry, full time, and I'll repay you. But I need you now because there's people all over the world who need the gifting that's inside of you, the motherly love people need right now. So, what your agenda? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's a wrap. It's done. It's finished. It's over with. And so, I'm saying that to you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Um, yeah, we tried that. As I say, my apostle, I was trying to hide out in the cave. I come out every now and then, help some people. And God was like, no, I need you completely out of the cave and you're on assignment. And you can't do nothing big, nothing, none of that. All you want to, you can't do nothing outside of me.
Nothing. Nothing.
So you might as well get in motion. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't want to have the harsh conversation where he makes you.
Can I be honest? He's making me right now. I had to preach on Saturday, and everything that could go wrong went wrong. And I said to God, I said, look, this is too much. I ain't even asked you for this. This would be different if I wanted to do it. I don't even want to do this. And I got to the place where I was supposed to be and I preached, but I was angry, but I preached. I did what God said. And my nephew was a prophet. My nephew laid hands on me and began to tell me what the Lord said. And the Lord said, and I quote, I know you don't want to do it, but I will drag you if I have to. I was like, dang, I don't want you to, I don't want you to drag me. I'm gonna try to get it together. I'm gonna try.
Oh, do we hear Jonah? Do we
I'm not running. Like, this is the thing. The thing is, I show up. I do what I'm supposed to do. I am coaching. I'm life coaching. I teach a life coaching class. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not, I do it. They call me for prayer, whatever it is, I do it. I preached my first funeral last week. Like, I'm doing it. This is not, but I don't, but I'm doing it.
mm, okay. So we just don't want to get in trouble. Like,
Yeah.
um, I look, there's Paul inside. I mean, it's Paul, the Saul, and then just do it. Like, even though we're doing it, it's a change of our mindset and our attitude. Like when we get into we're called, we still got to be in a mindset of gratefulness and thankfulness. Because I was thinking back the other day, and we have moments where um, we have done something, thought something, and the grace of God takes over. Back in the day, we know this. God would get angry by what you wasn't doing,
Right.
and you drop dead right then.
Right.
Like drop, ain't no coming back. Ain't no nobody got no paddles.
Right. The ground open up and swallow you up whole. Yeah. Yeah. I which is why I'm doing it. Um I
We gon'
recently
we gon' we gonna say we gonna have grace in the beauty that you have. That was one of the things I was like. She sent me. Let me tell y'all. She sent these two pictures, right? And I was like, no, where's the picture with the green, the purple, the whatever type of hair? I need that. And when I saw it, I said, "Yep, that
this, right? Yeah, I get it. I get it. I
that
mean,
that's the." Attention grabber. I tell them about my blue hair. It's the attention grabber. So now you asking me about my hair, my looks, and all of this stuff. Then all of a sudden, God comes in and be like, "Bam!" But what you think about? And now we talking about God when you thought you were just coming over here to compliment me about my looks.
Mm-hmm.
You said God is funny like that.
Yeah, his unorthodox methods and the people who don't look like they fit the part. Those are the ones that he's choosing in this day and time. Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it is.
yeah, that would be.
So, with writing these books, did you ever feel like writing was your thing? Like, were you always writing, or God actually gave you these books to write?
I've always been a writer. My grandmother um, was a writer. My grandmother used to write. She had her own greeting card line, so she was always writing poetry. I don't Now in my older life, I know that she was writing poems and she was writing newsletters. She was a writer. I didn't know that as a kid, but I've always had an ability to write. I never saw myself writing a book. What happened was my husband died September the 5th, 2014. But prior to that, I had been trying to write this 30-day journal because I was on the run. This is during my domestic violence time. I was on the run. So 2013, I was on the run. I was just kind of trying to find my way back to myself. So I was like, you know what? Let me try this 30-day journal. What happened was I took this 30-day Facebook challenge every day to find something to be thankful for, which was hard for me. And the first day that I complained, I had to go back to day one. I couldn't just pick back up. And that's how my 30-day journal started. My I don't know if that's what you call it, a 30-day journal. Yeah, 31-day journal. And I had been trying to self-publish it for a whole year and it just wouldn't format right. Everything was wrong. So I kind of left it alone. September the 3rd, 2000 or yeah, September the 4th, 2014, the Lord woke me up. It sounded like glass crashing outside. And I was homeless. I was living upstairs on top of a church, sleeping on two chairs together. And it sounded like glass was crashing in the middle of the street. And I sat up and I looked out the window, but I didn't see anybody. I heard the Lord so clearly, get your book. And I was like, I don't got no book. Like, what are you talking about? I ain't have no computer. I had a Galaxy, a note. I had like a note too. And well, I don't know if you know, but the note, you could do everything on a note. The note is just phenomenal. And so I took it, I sent it I didn't even edit it. I didn't even do anything to it. I sent it over to the publisher. The Lord said one thing to me to change a word. The name of the book at that time was Living in the Aftermath. The Lord told me to change it to Living Through the Aftermath. And I did. 24 hours later. So it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. So at noon, so that's 9 hours. So at noon, I got an email from, at that time, it was Create Space. And they were telling me that my book was live on Amazon. And I was like, that's impossible because normally it's like 24 hours. You wait for them to review it. Then they send it back to you. And then it's like another 24 hours before they actually go live. So I called them and I said, I received the email that my book was live and I think it's an error. And the man was like, that's impossible. This says you sent it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, exactly. And then he goes, oh my God, Miss Allen, it really is live. And I'm like, look, I don't have an issue. I don't want no problems. I'm not mad. Just do me a favor and change the title from Living in the Aftermath to Living Through the Aftermath. He said, are you sure? I say, yeah, this is bigger than you and me. So I'm sitting in a park in Newark. I'm actually sitting, I think it's called Military Park. I was sitting in Military Park in Newark at a poem reading. And my book is live and I'm tripping. Now that's 9 hours after I sent. So, the birthing cycle is 9 hours. I said, okay, that's weird. 9 hours later at 9 o'clock at night, I got a phone call that my husband was found dead. So I had two birthing cycles happening in the same day. I never pushed that book because I felt like it had some darkness attached to it because it came out the same day that my husband died. I never even talk about the book. I don't even really tell anybody about that particular book, but that's how it started for me. And after that, after the whole trauma of burying him and all of that, and then trying to live life on life's terms as opposed to still surviving. Because, we go into survival mode and we just stay there. We don't ever really feel like we have to come back to ourselves. I didn't come here to survive. I came here to thrive. So I had to get to a heal place because I was still living on the run. I was still not able to give people my address and not able to give people my phone number. And I was still living like I was running, and I really wasn't. He was gone. I didn't have any threat. So as a way of healing, I had to address the issues with me, because domestic violence is not the issue. I mean, it is an issue, but it is the result of a whole lot of unresolved issues. So I had to deal with the issue of me. And that's how I wrote the book, Who Is She? Is She You? Because you become everything to everybody and forgetting to be who you are to yourself. And that's how it started. I started writing letters to people in my life who I had an issue with, and then I just told the story, and that's how it started.
Um, I think when you realize people are sent to you for a reason, when you realize and you're open to what God is doing in your life, you understand more that you're more similar than you are different.
Yeah.
Um, Domestic violence is not always just the hand, the abuse. It's physical, it's emotion, it's all of these things that um sometimes we want to put in a box, seal it up, and ship it somewhere.
Mhm.
And you don't realize that there was some undue stuff, like you said, that you didn't realize was going on with you when you were a kid.
Mhm.
Didn't know that you were going through as adolescent, as a teenager, as an adult. You moved a certain way, you connect with certain people a certain way, and we always ask the question, why I keep attracting these wrong people? You ask those questions, and it's still something going back to you.
Right. Right.
And it's a hard pill to swallow when you keep getting the same results, expecting something different, but
Right.
it's still back
To you.
you. So I tell some people, like, you need to dig in yourself, date yourself, and really get out of your past. It's time to, as we say, get out of survivor mode. And I don't think some people realize they in that mode. That's
Right.
crazy.
Right. Right. Some
So
of us are.
tell them what survival mode looks like.
Survival. I think survival mode looks different to different people. I think that it's you do whatever you have to do to survive. So for me, I was emotionally unavailable, period, to everybody, including children. I If you got too close to me, first of all, there was no getting too close to me. But if you were pushing to get too close to me, I'm out of here. I gotta go. Um, it 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 is doing whatever you need to do to make it through the day, doing whatever you need to do to make it to the next step. Um, I don't know if relationships are a part of survival mode. I don't know if friendships are a part of, everything is with a long-handed spoon. Because you're just surviving. There's really no fulfillment in life. There's really no it's different because now I'm on the other side of it. So it's different. At that time, I got along to get along. You go along to get along. You don't want to argue. You don't want to fight. You want to keep the peace. You may not express yourself. You may not stand up for yourself. Not really you're a punk or whatever, but it just may not be worth the confrontation. I would much
Confrontation, yes.
rather keep myself quiet and keep it moving in some instances in survival mode because I don't want to be alone, because I already know, or I'm conditioned to being hit upside my head. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to stay in this relationship, even though it's not conducive for me, even though it's not good for me, but I know what to expect with it. I know that if I don't do X, Y, and Z, or if I do X, Y, and Z, these are the consequences. So I work within those parameters, um, and just go from there. And so to keep certain relationships and to keep yourself in a certain place, you just accept things that you probably wouldn't accept if you weren't just surviving but thriving.
So your ex-husband, he was physically abusive to you?
Physically, mentally, financially, sexually, emotionally. Yeah.
So I used to get this question, and I can't be nothing else but real.
Okay.
If I start crying, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I used to get asked the question because people would know me for different parts of my life, and they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't figure out how I allowed someone to abuse me.
Mm-hmm.
He never put it. Well, we did kind of fussle one time, but he never put his hands on me. But emotionally, financially, all of these things, he was abusive. And I had to say it that way, not to paint him as a monster,
Mm-hmm.
but there were some things that I allowed thinking that things would change if I only did this. If I only kept doing this, it would change. It never did.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the point where you're in survival mode where you're eating yourself. Like, I'm eating to get over this. Like, if I keep on eating, this is comfort food for me.
Mm-hmm.
So in the middle of the night, I used to eat like bowls of Fruit Loops without milk.
Mm-hmm.
And I would eat sugar. I would eat chips. I would eat and eat and eat as if this was helping me when she wasn't. I think at one point I was like 300 and something pounds,
Wow.
still thinking that I was cute. Not to say people that's overweight is not cute, but I was thinking that I'm okay.
Right.
I couldn't do what I was purposed to do. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
do anything. I was somehow, I don't even know how, I still don't know how. I was giving this man my whole check, and I'm the one that was working hard.
Mm.
Every time, every 2 weeks, my check went to him. He did whatever he wanted to do, and whatever was left, if I got $25, if I got $50, and I had great jobs. I allowed him to do and have other girlfriends in the marriage, as well as I was doing other stuff too. Thought it was okay. Like, I'm giving you everything you want. What else more do you want from me?
Mm.
And here is those moments of suicide because I didn't know who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Lost it completely. So listening and understanding, sometimes you, like I said, you get those hard questions like, what happened to you? And it's more answers um than we want to realize.
So for me, what happened to me, and nobody's ever asked me that, but what for me, I got married and I took a vow. And the vow said for better or for worse. Now let me say this, before I got married, he never was violent. He never was, because I know what I know now, there were signs in the beginning that I was not aware of. So he showed signs of control. He showed signs, but at that time I was not informed and I was vulnerable and I was excited. Now he was older than me and I felt like he had more wisdom than me and I was willing. I have always been willing to learn. And so I didn't really feel any kind of way when he was ordering my food and he just happened to be ordering the right thing. And I didn't feel any kind of way when he would go to the hairdresser and pay for my hair before I got there. But with that came she had to do my hair the way he asked her to, as opposed to the way I wanted to. Um, but I didn't really think of anything like that. I thought that was cute at the time. So when I got married and I took a vow that said for better or for worse, the thing is nobody can prepare you for what the worst is. That's the one part of marriage that we say and we take it so haphazardly because we come into it with a preconceived notion of what we think the worst is. I think most of us think sickness unto death or a loss of job or financial hardship. I don't think anybody ever thinks that the person that is taking a vow to love them, to honor them, to cherish them is going to be the same person that would do something to almost destroy them. So that was me. I am born and raised in the church, and so divorce was not an option, right? So when I come home from my wedding reception and my husband yells loud enough for the car windows to rattle, and I've never heard him do it before, and he storms in the house and closes the door and locks me outside in a wedding dress, I'm like, yep, I made a mistake, Lord. I don't know what this is, but this is different. And he progressively got worse. I stayed initially because I bought into the whatever that is you buy into, that divorce is a sin and you're supposed to just kind of try to work it out. And I did. I tried everything. I tried self-help books. We did the true love, the love dare. We did all kind of stuff. I went to counseling, and I went to counseling because he wanted to go. I was done. Because I feel like this, once you violate the person in your marriage, in the sense of putting your hands on them, in the sense of making them feel unsafe. I feel like cheating or anything like that, those are things that could be worked through if you want to work through them. But the violation, the trust issue of a man or two partners that I love, that you vowed to cherish me, you're now doing things that could be a detriment to me. I don't really know how we coming back from that. But my husband wanted to go to counseling. We went to counseling, and the person was like, "Do you love your wife?" And he was like, "Nah." And I sat in the counseling session like, what I'm here for? And I listened, and he said what he said. And when it was over, we went home and we fought because he felt like the counselors took my side. And I felt like they took his side. But I had no more fight. I just had to get to the place in my marriage where I felt like God was going to have to forgive me for divorce because I didn't believe that this was what he wanted for my life. He didn't create me to be somebody else's punching bag. He didn't create me to be on the other end of somebody else's terrible words. So this what I'm going to do, Lord. I'm just going to go ahead and confess to you that I need to get this divorce. You're going to have to forgive me like you forgive me for everything else. But the thing was, I did not want to be a spiritual adulterer. And I remember telling God that that's not what I want to do. I believe that this is the dress rehearsal for my real marriage. This is practice. So I think that you're going to give me a better marriage because I grew up in a home where my mother was married not to my father and I was not accepted. So I know that when I get married, it's going to be to somebody who's going to accept my children because when I grew up, I didn't have that. I feel like God is going to give me that, kind of like he owes me kind of. I don't really want to say it like that because I know people don't understand it like that, but God owes me that. Like I'm going to get married this time and he's going to love my children like he loves his own children. You know what I'm saying? He's going to love me for me and so forth and so on. And so I that's how I ended up there until I came to the knowledge and the understanding that that was not God's design for me or for my marriage. And he was not saved. I guess I probably should have said that in the beginning. Right. So I found myself saying, God, do this really count? Because I really went out on a limb on this one. But that's what happened to me. I took vows and I did what I was supposed to do. And I promised God, I'm gonna get it right the next time. I'm done with this. This is it. And I left him. I think I left him a few times and went back because my children were challenging my forgiveness. My children were challenging my relationship with God. If God could forgive us, then why we can't forgive him? And I felt betrayed by them. You see what this man is doing to us? Y'all want to go back home and be with him? And we did until I had to put bars across my door because he was big enough to walk through the door and take the door off the hinges if he wanted to. After being knocked downstairs on crutches, sprained ankles, all of that. I've been through all of that, hung out of windows, all of that. But when I got to the place where I just realized that that wasn't God's design for me, I never looked back. And I tried to divorce him 3 times. He wouldn't sign.
I think my ex used to tell me for years that he was never gonna divorce me. I would have to pay alimony and all of this stuff. So in my mind, psychologically, I was never getting divorced, regardless if I was happy or not. I was in a process. Some things had happened, and I thought we was on a better playing field. And I was in the process of planning our renewal wedding. Came to me one day. There was another woman in play that I didn't know in that way. Came to me like, I think we should be friends. I'm like, we already friends. What are you talking about? He was like, I think we should get a divorce. Wait, what? He came to me, same person that said he would never divorce me, came to me and was like, yeah, I think we should get a divorce. Before I opened my mouth, the bells, the alarms, the everything you can name went off like, don't you stop this. This your way out. I said, okay, that's what you want. All right. He probably looked at me like, okay. So by this time, he already had moved out of the house. I don't know where he was. I'm like, okay, and this is how this is about to be. And I felt not only betrayed, because in my head, I'm like, I could have did this years ago. But then there was a moment I was depressed and didn't know I was depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Because here it is. I did everything. I jumped over hoops, did everything you asked me, and you still divorced me? What the hell? How
Right,
that happened?
right.
But I thank God he did.
Yeah, man.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Mm, yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that happened because
yeah,
there are lessons that I had to learn. And now I tell other women, look, know the signs. Don't push the ignore button.
yeah. We paint
Don't
the
do
red
it.
different color. Yeah,
They show you in the beginning. They show it. Look, pay attention. Women, men, how they treat their parents, even to the point of how they treat their siblings, what
yeah,
they're doing. It shows.
yeah,
It shows. So
yeah.
you know if they ain't treating their mama right, would you ain't got a chance in hell.
Not nan chance. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So again, um, I have just in this conversation of having the emotional roller coaster of remembering
Mm,
those moments, but when you get out of that moment of survival mode and you're able to go back and help those because you see it and you hear it, you like, baby girl, I don't care how old you are, it's not worth it. I need you to, if you feel like you in an entanglement, you feel like you don't have no place to go, no hope, no faith, listen. You got Pastor Allen here, you got me. You got so many other people that are more for you than against you. And
yeah,
I couldn't do this without um I couldn't have done this without God. I couldn't have done it without people in the earth. And this by far lets me know again that we need each other. I didn't know this. I'm looking at you while we're praying on another channel. I didn't have no clue who you
yeah.
were.
Mm,
None. Now it all makes sense. Now it
yeah.
all makes sense. So what is some the arc of Yes, the ark of safety. What is the difference being in the ark of safety versus just being out in the streets or some other? I'm not sure where they at.
Um, the scripture that the Lord gave me, actually, it says everybody in the ark was safe. The ark is a place where you come to just be yourself. And everybody is in a different place in their life. Some people are coming out of certain situations. Some people have already been out for a while. Some people are just coming to know God for the very first time. But it's not a place where, you don't have to come dressed like this or that. You don't have to speak this language or that language. You just come the way you are, because that's how God deals with us, right where we are. He meets us right where we are. It is an honest place. It is a pure place. One thing about the ark, the Lord said to me when we first did it, or when we first launched, that his presence was always going to reside there as long as I made it, as long as I kept it a pure atmosphere, as long as I kept my hands clean, it would always be, and it always is, an encounter with God. No two encounters are the same. He meets us every single time we walk in the building. So it's an experience, it's an encounter. I I tell people, come comfortable. You can put on your good clothes if you want to. You will be rolling around on the floor in your good clothes. I don't want that for you. So, long skirts may not be for you at the art, because anything is liable to happen, but it's all welcome, because what I believe is that everybody that walks in the door is somebody on the inside of the door that is an actual reflection of where you are, where you were, and where you're headed. So yeah.
I agree. That's why I feel like platforms like this, who are real and transparent and being honest and open, um, will always have um, the favor. Will always have the means to have these conversations, because again, we talk about marriage all the time. They say that, but there's never the manual. They snatch things, they hide things, and they don't tell you about the ups and downs of marriage. I posed this question to all my single friends, and it had to be real. If you're in it for the wrong reason, especially if you're talking about sex, at any given time, those things do stop. Those
Yeah.
things have problems. And what
Yeah.
are you gonna do if
And
his don't
right,
work, or
right,
your stuff start working? What
right,
you gonna do if he is ill and now you have to be the breadwinner? What do you
right.
do? What are you having a conversation? Like, we say these vows, do you really understand what you're saying? And I don't think a lot of people do.
Right.
My first, second, third year in, yeah, all of those what if happened
Oh wow.
in my early 20s when I
Oh,
should be
at the prime.
like a
Right.
rabbit.
Right.
So what you
Wow.
gonna do? Now I'm ashamed in some things. I didn't do it the right way.
Okay.
Not at first. So
Okay.
those moments of y'all need to really know what happens in marriage. What we have these that say, "Oh, it's so grand, it's this, and that." Okay. Yeah, so that's how we got in trouble the first time. Cuz
I,
somebody not telling the truth.
I made a decision. I think I was teaching a Bible study class, and the Lord has been pricking on my heart, because what I saw was that what happened was I went somewhere. It was not a church. It was a secular environment, but they brought me in to speak words to her friends. She created an event for me to come and speak to her friends. Such a sexy atmosphere. I don't drink, I don't smoke, but it was really, that was my impression. I felt like, oh, snap. And I was dressed sexy. That was the funny thing. That was the whole joke, right? I went back to my church and I said, the Lord gave me this sexy and saved sister, Sass. I need to teach you how to be saved and sexy, because that's my life. And it ain't just about what you look like, but everybody's talking about they want to be a wife, but you don't know how to cook. You don't know how to clean. You don't know how to minister to your mate. You don't know how to speak into the life of your mate. You don't know when to be quiet because you always want to have the last word. You don't know that there is a time when you could just be quiet and you could come back to it later and address it when cooler heads are prevailing, and it will save your relationship. There are just things that they didn't teach us. They didn't teach you how to cook. They didn't teach you how to save. They didn't teach you how to have stacks and stacks of toilet tissue and stacks of paper towel and stacks of soap and stacks of laundry. But there are things that we are missing. But then we get to church and we get saved and we act like we put on garbage bags and we talking about we waiting for him to find us. But what is he finding? What is it there for him to like? I don't. So I've decided. I didn't decide. The Lord gave me a
And it
responsibility.
makes sense because again, one thing that was different with my current husband is he lets me be me, whatever that is. Like if I want to go out in a one piece dress and a little leg and my tattoos were showing, he'd be like, "Babe, you fine and sexy." Like for real. He'd be like,
Right,
"Yes." He don't want no look, put on no nun in a collar. What?
right. You his
That
wife,
no, we not doing that. So when I do the blue hair, the orange, the red, the blonde, my husband all for it. Yes. Show it off. Yes. I'm not intimidated by no other man trying to push up. Thank you for even looking at my wife. Thank you.
right,
I
right,
appreciate it.
right, right. So I decided I'm gonna teach them. I'm gonna host events initially just for the women because we women need to get it together in the way we present ourselves, and even those of us who are so broken that all of our body parts are on display when we go out, and we're disguising that as sexiness when it's really a glutton for attention. We really
Yes, attention,
us and
wrong one.
tell us that we're beautiful and tell us that happiness is within, contentment is within. So when these men come or these women come or whatever, they're coming to add to it. They're not coming to give it to you. You have to have it already. And so he's giving me that auspicious task. And
You got it.
I'm
And one
working.
thing about it, my first impression of you was like, man, this is another sister like me, which love color and is bold in her walk. I don't allow people in their opinions of me, how I dress, how I do certain things. I've been delivered from that. At the end of the day,
Yes, ma'am.
um, how I do things is what's grabbing the attention and be able to minister and have soul winning, which we need to get back to soul winning in whatever arena that you're going to. So again, it is what it is. We all have touched something that everybody in the world might not have touched. But again, we have gone beyond that in order to go back and grab those people. I say all the time, all prostitutes don't walk streets. If you
It's
really
true.
understand
It's
what
true.
prostitution is,
Change for services, period.
thank you. A lot of y'all are doing it, and
Yeah.
but you don't give your side the title of I'm a prostitute. I
Right.
will tell you, yeah, I was prostituting.
Yeah, me too.
Let's get delivered because I
Right.
need y'all to understand what the real meaning of
We all
prostitution
had,
is.
if we're gonna be honest, we all had, please.
But yeah, so again, you gotta get out of and understand you are needed in the earth right now. We're not talking about tomorrow. We're talking about right now. And because he's saying what he's saying to us, we have to be able to tell God yes. And from there, God will do the rest. Wherever he sends me, if I have to go to Jersey, which I'm still going, if I have to go to Italy, wherever, I'm going because there's a reason. Someone needs me. They need what's in us in order for them to live, in order for them to heal, in order for them to. Some of these people all in the clergy things, they ain't trying to go out here.
You know.
So he got to send somebody who's available. You available? Oh, you ain't got no choice. Oh, I forgot. Yes, that's how that works. So we don't have no choice. So we have to do what God called us to do, however He wants us to do it. If we look like this, guess what? I'm gonna come to you because you look radical,
Right.
huh?
It's true. It's
So
true.
again, I want everybody that's bold with the colors, whatever. The piercings, I had my tongue pierced 4 times. If it's multiple earring, I don't care. Tats, I have 14 tattoos.
Yeah, I got a lot of them too. I got tattoos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, whatever it is, somebody can relate to me. Somebody can relate to you. And it's important for us not to hide it. Listen, baby, I've been through it.
Yeah. Been there, done that. Yeah.
Got the t-shirt to sell it. But at the
Okay.
end of the day,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you can overcome it because I did. She did.
Facts. I did.
We didn't see ourselves here.
No.
We didn't see ourselves here when that stuff was happening. I was
Mm-mm.
suicidal. I didn't see myself making it. But guess
Mm.
what? God did.
Yeah.
And now we here telling the story. Now we here books in, 9 books in, with a church that we weren't even thinking about.
With a
Come on
church.
now.
That part. With a church.
With a church.
With
We
a
didn't
church.
see that, but God did.
No, ma'am. We didn't see that.
And so I'm excited. I'm like, what he about to do now? Mm, 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 mm. We got another book.
That's what they say.
That was the wrong answer. You go.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of stuff coming down, but I got like some
All
songs.
I'm gonna tell you: keep your bags packed. And I feel this Arca Safety Global International. Yes, you got to go, honey. And the Ark was mobile at one point.
It
Was
carried the
it?
presence of God. It did. It was
It was mobile.
carried the presence of God. Yep.
Hmm.
It
Ain't that
spoke,
something? God,
spoke
you amazing.
of the angel. Yep. The ark was.
Well, I hope you caught that.
I heard you. I got it.
Okay. So yeah, keep your bags packed. Um, there's there's a global ministry for you.
Amen.
Is and the ministry is not just women because it's men that's being abused too. Um,
Amen.
not just from women, but society itself. We have a lot of broken men.
It's true.
So yeah, get ready, my dear. If you don't have your passport, get it soon because you about to go.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. So again, thank you for coming through tonight. You have blessed my soul, honey. You have blessed my soul. Again, next time we talk, um, book, travel, all these great things. I see it happening. Um, yeah, and I hear songwriting as well. Like there's a song about to be an album, a EP, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's about to birth out of you too. So yeah, keep your
Am-
ears to heaven.
Yes, ma'am.
So, as always, time has gone past. We always hour go past so fast when you're having so much fun. Again, I will definitely send you the link to the show tonight, the conversation for tonight, and you will definitely be another guest that I will have back on to really dig even deeper into not only just the prophetic, but who you are as a person. I feel like the world needs to know that is safety for those who are not playing church. I'll say that again. Who's not playing church, who are really into ministry, regardless if we want to or not. God's will be done. We just
Amen.
not in the place of Him making us do it. Hallelujah. And thank you again. I believe in 6 degrees of separation. We are one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. And we are out.
Bye.
See ya.